Hi, this is David, and I wanted to do this video on I'm a Mormon. The Mormon Church has every right in the world to have Mormon.org, Mormon.org. Let me give them plenty of advertising because the more you go there, the more you're going to see a train wreck. There's a lot of Mormon child molestation that goes on, and it's gone on for years and years and years. The Mormon Church is an expert at basically covering up their history and covering up anything that they don't think you should know about or you should read about. And so what I'm going to try to do is, and the reason this came up, the reason it came up, we just had a guy just now, yesterday in West Valley, was charged with several hundreds, if not thousands, of pictures on his computer of young boys. And here is what you have to know about the Mormon Church. It never said he was a Mormon. Never said. And they went through the whole newscast, and oh, it was KSL, the church news station, and Fox 13 and others here in Salt Lake area that reported on this guy. Well, when I went to look him up this morning, Desert News seems to have lost the story. This is what you've got to know. It's the underground Mormon Church. So this guy, in the news article on TV, it said that he was a scout leader. But it didn't say a Mormon scout leader. Ah, didn't say that. Because the church is used to playing with the words, slanting and spinning. I think that Joseph Smith invented spinning. Well, the news program showed some pictures of his car and some pictures inside his car. And guess what was inside of his car on the dashboard? What am I going to do today to live Heavenly Father's plan? Now, when you hear the words Heavenly Father's plan or Heavenly Father, generally, that is a Mormon phrase. That means those of us that have been Mormon, we know that guy was a Mormon. Okay, it was on front of his dashboard, and it was written, he wrote, what am I going to do today to live Heavenly Father's plan? And then underneath of it, some of the kids had written some kinds of their names or whatever. It's obvious. He's a Mormon. But the Mormon Church doesn't want that out. And the only way it gets out is voices like me. It is the only way it gets out is voices like me going to Australia and New Zealand and Romania, Canada, South America, Africa. All those people watch parts of my video. They don't know this, and now it's buried. Now it's buried, and now people in Utah are not going to hear much about this again ever. The Mormon Church, I believe, is probably as rampant in child molestation in their Boy Scout program as the Catholic priests were. Now, the difference in the ratio, the Mormons may say, well, we only had 10,000. Well, the Mormon Church only has, 13 million supposed. Really, it's 4 million people. The Catholics had, 1.6 million because they're, a billion people in the world. So there's the statistical difference. And the Mormons use that. If you take a percentage of their congregations, you're probably going to find similar statistics. Anyway, this guy, he's now up for jail in Utah. He's probably not wearing garments. He's going to go to jail. Okay, so what I did is I thought, well, I know this stuff goes on, but, I put my kids in scouts when I was a Mormon. I put my kids in scouts. It never occurred to me that there would be predators there that would take advantage of my kids. So, like I said, the internet is the kiss of death for the Mormon Church. There's just no doubt about that. Let me bring up, if I did this right, you're still looking at me, but I'm looking at my other screen here. Let me go through what I found and what I found to be shocking. How does the Mormon Church cover this up? I don't know. They're experts. Let me just give you a quick list. This is a quick list. This is not a comprehensive list. This is a quick list. Ex-Mormon bishop pleads guilty to child abuse case. Utah Mormon bishop accused of failing to report. Now, these are different. They're all different. They're not the same person. Second one, Utah Mormon bishop accused of failing to report child abuse. Okay, I've been a mandated reporter in 3 or 4 states for over 35, 40 years. If you hear or see or suspect, or someone even says the word child molestation, as a mandated reporter, you've got to report that. And a bishop is, they don't do it. They don't live the laws of the land. They never do. Susan Brock, molestation case. Police recommend bishops be charged. Another one, former Oxnard man alleges sexual abuse, sues Boy Scouts and the Mormon Church. I used to be in that stake, Santa Barbara Stake. Oxnard was part of Santa Barbara Stake at one time. Here's a guy that could have been molesting one of my kids. Okay, prosecutors. Susan Brock pursued molested boy's brother first. Mormon Church knew of the sex. Lisa Davis exposes molestation. The Mormon Church in the sins of brother Curtis. Mormon Church to examine its roles in Brock's sex abuse case. Did fellow Mormons cover up officers' babies' molestation? It's hard for me to even read this. Part of a lawsuit against the church, Boy Scouts, which was tossed out. I'm going to give both sides of the story. Sex abuse cost Boy Scouts, here's one they lost, $18.5 million to the Mormon Church that they had to pay. Jury finds Boy Scouts negligent in abuse case. Punitive damages are next. That's the Mormon case right there. Stephen Young pleads not guilty. There's another scout leader that goes, oh, I didn't do anything. Church settles with plaintiff. There's another lawsuit that the Mormon Church has settled. Mother of man suing Boy Scouts over alleged sex abuse says officials knew Timmer Dyke's background. Another case. LDS youth leader accused of sex with kids. Oh, another one. John Doe claimed that local videographer sexually abused him in 1990 and that the local man's parents should have stopped alleged acts. Another Mormon. Former LDS music teacher accused of abuse has history of church problems. Michael Sims was kicked out of another denomination church in Salt Lake City, but the Mormons took him because, you know, he'll pay tithing. Mormon Church sued over sex allegations. Here's another one. Lawsuits to be filed against Boy Scouts and Mormon Church. Another one. Seminary students' account of sex abuse is cautionary. Mormon seminary principal in Utah suspected of sex with children. Prosecutors say they do not have enough evidence to file a molestation charge against a man who is a former reserve officer. He's one of the police. And they didn't have enough evidence to charge him in Utah. Right. Sexually abused woman loses bid to sue the Mormons. I'm going to give you all of it. You make up your own mind. Woman wants to sue Mormons over abuse. Another one. Weber man pleads guilty to sex abuse. Mormon. Child porn man jailed. Another one. Mormon jailed for abusing child. Mormon guilty of sex abuse to be sentenced. Mormon was mentor for church children. Mormon appears in court charged with child abuse. South Dakota sex case against Mormon church resolved. The Mormon church paid. That's how it gets resolved with your tithing money. Church sex offender secretly deplored. Mother sues Mormon Church in abuse case. 2 Portland men in joint sex lawsuit against the Boy Scouts and the Mormon Church. I think that one is $17 million right now. The Mormon Church is appealing the $17 million because they need money for them all. Michael Anderson convicted of molestation. Another one. Church choose to stay quiet on sex abuse. Oh, I'm surprised there. Talks aimed to settle sex abuse lawsuit. Mother of sexually abused child brings suit against, these are all separate, Mormon Church. Former church leaders accused of molestation cover-up. Oh, the Mormons? The Mormons? And I'm a Mormon. Here's the cover-up. Former Mormon missionary gets prisoned in Nevada for child sex case. My boy, and I'll give you his first name, John, he just served a mission in Las Vegas. One of his buddies, I guess, is in jail. He's in jail. Man accusing Mormon missionary of the 1960s with sex abuse wants a trial. Mormon Church, Boy Scouts, sex abuse lawsuit grows. Award cult and Mormon Church abuse case. There's another few million that went out the door. Ex-members of the LDS choir plead guilty in a porn case. I guess there's things to do in the Mormon Tabernacle Choir rather than sing. I don't know. Okay. Oh God, Lord. Uh, Church volunteer accused of molesting young girl. Lawsuits against the Mormons set for mediation. One man's brutal encounter with sexual abuse in the Mormon church. Missionary sued in alleged sex abuse case. Two men sue Mormons, scouts over abuse. Oh my gosh, here's another ex-choir member. I don't know what they're doing with the Mormon It's probably boring. This gives them a little sideline activity. Ex-choir member charged with lewdness. Oh, I know. This is not the senator. We had a senator here in Utah. What you don't know about? He was charged with indecent behavior. I think she was 15, and he's in a hot tub, and he's married with this 15-year-old girl naked. But he's a senator in Utah. Nothing wrong with that. He never went to jail. He never got charged. It's just some of our local papers picked the story up, and people like me are sending it out to you because you don't get it. So, it's okay to marry 14-year-olds, and it's okay to be naked and be a senator in Utah with a 15-year-old girl naked in a hot tub. So, decide for yourself. Um, Here's a lawsuit filed against the church, claims abuse, set adrift. I'm not sure what that one is there. Man sues LDS church claiming abuse by a home teacher. So when your home teachers show up, lock your damn kids in the back room. Here's the home teacher screwing the kids. Former LDS missionary sentenced to forcible sexual abuse. So even if you lock your kids in the back room, they're going to go in there and get them. Okay, former youth counselor sentenced to 6 months in prison. He must have been wearing his garments. He only got 6 months. LDS church to appeal verdict on sex abuse. Yeah, there's $20 million there. They don't want to pay. They want to use that for the mall and not for the person that got hurt, but they're going to appeal everything. LDS church to pay $4.2 million in an abuse case. Church liable for girls abuse. Former Mormon missionary spared prison in Vegas child sex case. Okay, well, maybe that's one of Dan's companions. Maybe my son was a witness for him, character witness. The LDS missionary accused of sexual abuse. Second church volunteer arrested in child abuse probe. So it's a group now. It's 2 or 3 going at it now. LDS teacher, sheriff's employee accused of abusing girl. Now, if he's a sheriff's employee, he ain't gonna go to prison in Utah. It's not gonna happen. If you're wearing your garments before a jury and you're crying and you're repenting, your ass is free. Your ass is free in this state. Family sues the Mormon church over abuse. Alleged for Mormon lawsuit. Former Mormon state president pleads guilty. He's not even gonna fight it. He goes, yeah, I was molesting kids when they came in for the interview and the parents aren't allowed to be there. Abuse alleged in Mormon lawsuit. Former mission president. Here's a mission president. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I read it wrong. And when I make mistakes, I'm gonna tell you the truth. This one is a former Mormon stake president pleads guilty to soliciting internet sex with a teen. That is a different one. There's so many of them between the bishops and the stake presidents. I can't even keep track of them. Internet. Yeah, he's on the internet. And by the way, Utah's #1 in internet porn sites that are paid for. That's done by a credit card company, not by anti-Mormons, but you can take that wherever you want to put it. Church not responsible for abusers. Okay, there's one the Mormon church won on, I guess. Court asked to revisit church ruling. Former bishop charged with sex abuse fired from a corrections job. He works down at Point of the Mountain, and the sex abuse people come to him, and he got fired himself for being a sex abuser. Former West Valley LDS bishop accused of sex abuse. Former Mormon missionary indicted on child sexual abuse. Mormon charged, suspect's computer examined. Mormon missionary accused of fondling girls at the Vegas church. Now, I think when I read this case, he was sitting in church. I don't know how you can molest little kids. I don't know. It takes more of an imagination than I got. But he was in sacrament meeting, and he got charged with molesting 2 little girls. And, he's a missionary, Mormon. Mormon missionary accused of fondling girls at the Las Vegas church. I think that's the same suit. Former Mormon bishop busted. Jeez. Mormon church sued again regarding child abuse. Mormon church accused of failure to report. LDS church is targeted in lawsuit. Mormon leader denounces sexual abuse. Sex abuse lawsuit is settled by the Mormons. $3 million. Here's one they settled for $3 million. Where is that coming out of the business income of the mall, or do you think that's coming out of tithing? Figure it out for yourself. Sex case. May pry open finances of the Mormon church. That's the one that's going on up in Ogden right now. In Oregon. Crisis of identity. Judge orders Mormons to provide sex abuse records. Yeah, good luck on that. I see those shredding machines out front of these Mormon stake centers all the time. Kidding. Pressures to forgive challenges Mormon family, divides ward. Sexual abuse of children in the Mormon church. Clergy ignores victim, alleged LDS plaintiffs. Mormon psychologist recanting about church flawed puzzles some. Well, let me go back here. And let me just kind of finish up what I'm trying to say here. I'm not here to bring every dirty skeleton to the public on the Mormon church. The Mormon church does that themselves. They don't need me. Believe me, they don't need me. But here's the point of this video. They're secretive. They're tricky. They spin. They change words. And there's a religion under, and I've told you this over and over again, there's a religion under the table. What you see up here are nice, smiling, happy, Mormon.org, Mormon.org, Mormon.org. Those are the videos that they produce to make the public think they're normal. What I just read to you, is that normal for that much church leadership to be, molesting little children, boys and girls? The Scout program of the Mormon Church is the largest scouting program in the world. Did I tell you, I did in another video, I didn't want to be in those tents with 10 guys sleeping and the scout leaders coming in to check on you. This is a sad, sad story. These are people that are put in, I'm going to use the word sacred, because when you're in charge of a child, I don't care if you're a parent or who you are in the community, if you're in charge of a little child who is totally innocent and who is totally dependent upon you for income or information, or a soccer coach, or someone that is looked up to, a policeman, etc., you have a sacred obligation to make sure everything is on the up and up. Not the Mormons. They do not live the laws of the land. And when their members break the laws, they send them through Utah courts, Utah juries, and Utah prison system if they make it that far. The ones that hit prisons are the ones with the tattoos and the mohawk hair and the ring in the ear. And that, if they're wearing garments and you look like a returned missionary, you get what the guy in Vegas got. He got a slap on the wrist. So, and there's a big population in Nevada for LDS people. So let me just be a voice. This is happening all the time in Utah. We have, I think, now I may be overstating this. You may want to check your own facts on this. But we appear to have more women in the school system molesting children than we do men. Now that's an unusual thing. And we see a woman, last year we probably had 5 or 6 women in the school system. And a lot of times they're older women entertaining, 16, 17-year-old boys. But, they go up on charges too. But I've never seen any of them in jail. They're just deprived at home because their husbands are not sexual. I don't know. But I want this voice to go out to the world because it's the truth. It's the truth. I see it in the newspapers with my own eyes. I hear it on TV. You don't. You don't. We get 5 or 6 women a year in the school districts that are molesting, and we probably get 2 or 3 other women who are molesters who are not connected to the public school. And then, we get regular molestation statistics like any other community does, but look at the statistics in the Mormon church. When you repress sexual activity of human beings, it's going to come out somewhere. It's going to come out somewhere. And these men, and well, these men, because I basically made this on the Boy Scouts, are taking their sexual activity out on innocent people. And then the Mormon church backs them up, rubs them under the carpet, pushes them, sweeps them under the carpet, pays for attorney bills, and then always appeals. They don't care anything about the victims. And basically, I wanted this to be a voice, that this is happening all the time in the Mormon church. And if you think there's a difference between the Mormon church and what's going on in the Catholic church, it's just because the Mormon church covers it up. At least the Pope and the leadership of the Catholic church has come forward and go, homie, don't play this. We're not going to allow this. We're going to stop it and we're going to report it. You ever heard the Mormons say that? Keep listening.